This video is going to talk about factoring special cases of quadratics. We have two of them here, so I would take notes. All right, there's the difference of two squares, and there's perfect square trinomial. So the difference of two squares is going to be a binomial, a quadratic binomial, where the first term and the second term are both perfect squares, and they have to be being subtracted. Okay, the sum does not work. That's why it's called the difference of two squares. And when you have this special case of two perfect squares being subtracted, okay, then you can factor it in this form where it's just the square root of the first term plus the square root of the second term times the square root of the first term minus the square root of the second one. So we have an example of that right here. X squared minus 49, those are both perfect squares. All right, and so when I factor this, okay, it's going to be my two parentheses. All right, and the square root of x squared is just x, so that's going to go in the first spot of each one, and then square root of 49 is 7. So one's going to be plus 7, and the other one is going to be minus 7. All right, now the perfect square trinomial, all right, it's almost the complete opposite of the difference of two squares, because here the middle terms, if you FOILed it, the middle terms would cancel out. Okay, here the middle terms are actually doubling. So where one's a positive 7 and one's a negative 7, here they'd both be plus, right? Or they'd both be minus. So they don't cancel out, but they double. So we're looking for when the middle term, okay, is 2 times the square root of the first term and the last term. All right, so, and then when it is, we just get a square root binomial answer. That looks like this. So the square root of the first term plus the square root of the second term squared, or if the middle term's negative with a minus. So here we have the middle term with a minus, right? Square root of 64 is 8, right? So 2 times 8 is 16, so it's being doubled, all right? And so this is going to fit into that perfect square trinomial. So it's going to be x minus 8 squared. All right, again, it's minus because that sign is minus. All right, now your turn to try. So difference of two squares, you should have got x plus 5, x minus 5, because the square root of 25 is 5. And then for the perfect square trinomial, right, square root of 16 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, so that's how I know it's a perfect square trinomial. So that's just going to be x plus 4 squared. All right, and you could think of this 4 coming from two spots here. It's the square root of 16, but it's also half of the middle one because it's double the square root of that. All right, so there you go.